I'll never forget working at a job that I hated. My last job was in Burbank, working for this business owner who owned a commercial collection agency. And I remember the way he treated his employees, including myself. You're just like another number to these guys. And I got that feeling. And I said to myself, at probably 26 years old, there's no way I'm gonna put up with this ever again. Because it was just a terrible feeling. So I was a very bad employee. I'm like, there's no way this is gonna be my life. I gotta do something else. Being that my mom was an entrepreneur working for herself, and I was always in the back of my mind, like, she raised 4 kids running her own business. What the heck is my excuse? And in the collections world, they hire anybody. People from the streets, just got out of prison, right? Anybody. I'll never forget this guy. I think his nickname was Luigi, but he was a nice guy. And he was a short little guy. And he says, hey, I got a meeting I'm going to tonight. And he goes, you want to go? I said, what is it? It's a business meeting. And I'm like, sure, I'll go. And I went. I'll never forget, I was on Ventura Boulevard. I walk in, I felt a bit uncomfortable because they're all dressed up professionally and I'm not used to that. But they were speaking this different language about entrepreneurship, about freedom, about running your own business, having control of your income, helping out families, financial education. I'm like, wow, I never heard of this before. But I was excited because everybody else in the room was excited. And I saw it, I'm like, dude, I'm in. Whatever this is, I'm in. I didn't even really comprehend it. It was another company in the financial industry. I'm like, I signed up. And that was in the insurance industry. So originally born in Mexico, and me and my siblings and raised here in California. Humble beginnings. Mom, dad separated, so mom raised 4 kids, and I just remember her being an entrepreneur, her getting into sales. She was a distributor for a vitamin company called Shackley. And I would ask mom, hey mom, how did it start? She said someone knocked on her door. Think about the opportunity. Someone knocked on her door and said, hey, I'm looking for sales reps for a vitamin company. She says, what's it take to get started? You have to fill out an application. At the time, I think it was like 15 bucks. And she would tell me that she only had like 25 bucks to her name at that day, that particular week. She's like, okay, let me get started. She puts 15 bucks into this thing. And then she raises 4 kids with that business for the next 15 years.
My mom has always been the example to all of us. She is a hard worker, even to today, taking care of all her kids. But because of her, we all have that ability, and because we learned. And he never forgets where he came from.
I was living on Fulton and Van Noen. And there was an apartment complex, and right across the street, there's a dairy market where we go shop every day. So I'd go there regularly, where the lady would see me all the time. She actually offered me a summer job to be a bag boy. So I was a bag boy when cars would drive up, and I'd bag the groceries and I'd give it to them. I started doing it at 13 years old, and she would pay me 20 bucks for half a day. When I first got a taste of working and making a little bit of money, I'm like, I want to do more of this. And my first actual job was flipping pizzas at Domino's Pizza. So I got really good, you make the pizza, you start throwing up in the air, and that was me, man, making pizzas. And the problem was that I started eating a lot of these damn pizzas, man. And no joke, man, I growing up, I was a chubby kid. So that's bad when you work at a pizza joint. You're gonna end up eating a pizza. So I started looking like a pizza, man. So it wasn't cute. After Domino's, I remember working at UPS. I was actually a loader, loading boxes, loading these UPS trucks until your back goes out on you. It's like torture working at UPS. You go back home late at night. You can't even move your back. You're like in pain. But those were my earlier jobs as a knucklehead kid.
Is anybody running for a promotion like from last month? Let's say you're brand new and you didn't hit FA, or you're going for FA, or you're going for director, and you know you can hit FA the 90 days. Sometimes we forget about that.
So we met in a business in the office in Northridge. I remember she walked in, and I was single at the time, and I noticed her. I was asking Pat about her, like, who's this new girl, right? It was a new girl. Oh, she's working with such and such. Then I remember it was an event where she asked about the business, who can I learn from who on these areas of the business, and Pat wrote a couple names on the board, and she just happened to pick my name and came out to me and says, hey, are you available for coffee? I want to pick your brain. I looked at my clock. I had nothing on my schedule. I said, let me think about it. Let me see. And then a few minutes later, I'm like, okay, I'm open, right? Let's go have some coffee. So we go have some coffee. She's asking me questions about the business. I'm asking her about, her hobbies. She's asking me about how do you do this, how to do that in the business. I'm asking her about what kind of music she likes. I was applying my closing skills with Marlene, and it worked, right? And then we started dancing, and we clicked. She likes salsa, I like salsa. We started dancing, and she'll say that I put my arm on her waist and started dancing, and then that was a connection. First couple years, I didn't make any money in the business. I failed my exam twice, passed around the third time. First year I made $3,000. Second year I made about 9, 10 grand. Second year, and I'm trying to figure this thing out as an entrepreneur. Third year, 30 grand. Fourth year, finally crossed 6 figures, fourth year. But in the beginning, we had to endure. I had to endure going to my girlfriend's house, Marlene, and I see her brother and her sister, and they can't stand me. They're like, why are you dating this broke guy, right? We show up to the house, and then my mother-in-law, father-in-law, they're looking at me kind of like, why is she dating you, right? Could you imagine that? We don't go hang out at barbecues. We don't go hang out at birthday parties. We're not there at events because we're building our business. So I was looked at as like that guy that was not allowed in the house, man. And I remember going to an event in San Diego. It was called Top Gun. We're at the worst time. Didn't have the best event. Didn't have a lot. We're frustrated financially. We're stressed out. I was emotional. She was emotional. I got in the car with her. We drove away from the event. We parked somewhere. We're having a conversation, and there was no commitment there. She was still my girlfriend after many years. So that's when I proposed. I proposed without a ring. Imagine that. And I proposed with a ring. I said, I don't have a ring. I said, I want to marry you. Will you marry me? And she said, yes. She got emotional. I'm emotional. We're at the worst place financially, but it was a decision that we made to get committed. With the chaos in front of us, the one thing we can control is ourselves. And that commitment was more strength to handle all the chaos. And I said, hey, I may not have a ring right now, but if you marry me, I'm going to give you the world. The biggest challenge for any young entrepreneur, and for myself or anybody else, the biggest challenge they will tell you, or hopefully they admit it, is the discipline of reading, the discipline of personal development, the discipline of starting a book and finishing a book. It's not easy if you're not used to it. And I didn't grow up reading books. A lot of people didn't grow up reading books. And I can tell you that's one of the reasons why most people don't make it and they quit, because they don't have the daily discipline and those habits of starting something and finishing something. Until you do that, you can never get to the next level. There's no way. So I encourage everyone, you have to go out there and grow. And as you grow, you'll come across amazing, authors. And I think about John Maxwell, one of the best in leadership. Everyone knows John Maxwell. He talks about the law of the lid. And this is it. This is your lid here. Until you lift that lid and raise it higher, can you provide more value to people? And it's the same thing with your identity. If your identity stays stagnant, so will your income, so will your language, so will your vision, so will your goals and dreams. So it's one of the things that you have to improve. It's like going to a soccer game. So that's us. You'll see us at the conventions, ole, 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 TGA, the sea of red. One thing that's special about our company, PHP, and in our individual teams is that we have culture. Peter Drucker, an author, said a quote that says that culture eats strategy for breakfast all the time. So if you don't have culture, forget about strategy.
It's crazy right now. People are closing out promotions. The energy's insane. There's music blasting. We're going to see who's going to win, TDT or Titans. So we're going to stay to the end to see who closes out the show tonight.
Campos, they drove from Arizona to come down here to be part of Fast Start School. Decided to compete against the Titans in Nelvana. They got first to 10 recruits today versus Titans 8. But Nelvana says the night's not over.
Culture retains people. Culture makes it fun. It's not just you selling a product, it's you being part of a movement, being part of an environment, being part of a team, being part of a family. And we love that, and you make it fun.
There were nights that his office light would be on till late. And there goes Jose making calls, planning for the next day.
And now we see that every step that they are going through, my wife and I are going through the same process, and we're going through the same stages. So it's good that we might fight one day or argue about something, and then we have lunch with Jose and Marlene and we see them argue, and then we're like, oh, look at each other, and we're like, oh, we're next.
Even though Jose is where he is today, he's that same person that talks about dream and talks to the newest person and is excited to meet the newest person and talks about their dream, and that childlike excitement from the day we met him till now, it's still there.
I remember clearly when I got inspired for our team named TGA, The Great Awakening, Inspiring Greatness, Building Leaders. And it was in 2011 when we had a different team name that we just got from Patrick, but I needed something that meant something to me at the time. And I came across Billy Graham on YouTube. And I never heard anybody speak with that passion before. And he started talking about transformation. He started talking about rebirth. He started talking about becoming a better man. He started talking about our country needing spiritual awakenings. Then he says our country needs a great awakening. That's what I'm becoming. I'm becoming the next best version of myself. There was a great awakening at one point for me. So it got to me, spoke to me first.
I want you to see this video here. If you haven't seen it, this is the young Jose Gaytan here.
Jeez.
That is our team name officially as of on Friday. And we're excited, a whole new identity, a whole new image. I'm so fired. I have chills all over my whole body, by the way. The Great Awakening means something to me. And in the next 100 years, as PHP writes history, this is what it's all about. And all you guys are a part of it.
I believe today the biggest challenge in America is we don't have father figures today. That's a problem today. I'm one of them. My dad didn't raise me. He was an alcoholic. Him and my mom were on and off for many years until they separated, and then my mom raised me. But I saw a bad example. I knew what I didn't want to be. And I think today so many young men don't have father figures. So many young men don't have examples in business. So many young men lead the wrong lives for so long, and they never have their great awakening. And I believe we recruit enough people and we give them this environment, just like they gave me the environment, to become a better individual, a business person, a better example. We talk about values, we talk about principles, we talk about couples, the role of a father, the role of a man in a household, the role of a man to being a provider in business. That goes a long way. So we want to inspire greatness, we want to build leaders. And if you're not a leader today, you kind of have to be a leader. I mean, you want to lead your family, you have children, you got to lead your children. And if you want to become financially independent, it's not going to happen by other men and women leading you. You got to break away from that, become an entrepreneur, and go lead yourself. But you got to learn that. So it's not just about making money, it's about you becoming a better individual.
Sundays are like beyond sacred to my husband. Like he has it on his calendar, he counts down, he gets so excited, and then he has every minute of the day planned out. And it's not like it's special, like we go somewhere, it's typically just church, and then they pay cash flow, the board game.
Hey, what do you say? Yeah. You say, nice doing business with you. You're my business partner now, right? Okay, good job.
Then he takes them to do sports for a couple of hours. Then we come back and watch a boy movie, just typically Transformers or Mission Impossible lately. And that's it, it's just quality time. But the way he enjoys it, he just counts down. I've never seen that kind of excitement. So this one is a boy too, so I guess he'll be joining in the sport. So I just watch.
I look forward to those days. Just quality time to spend time with those boys mean a lot to me. And it's great to see their personalities develop, and how Lukey's more like me, how Preston's more like mom, and how is our new baby boy gonna be like. And they're so excited to meet their baby brother. So it's just so special to see your kids grow and be able to provide for them. I just think about, again, I wasn't raised by a father, so I want to become the best father. I want to be the best example. I want to also challenge them. They're not spoiled kids. Everything's earned, and they're understanding that. So teaching them these kids these life lessons at a young age that is always going to stay with them means a lot. It's biblical when I think about vision. And the Bible says, well, there's no vision, people perish. And if you don't have a vision and a dream, then why do you even get up? But in the beginning, I didn't understand that, but I did accept it when I learned about the books, one of them being one of the greatest books, Think and Grow Rich, and Napoleon Hill. And I've seen now a lot of these vision boards become a reality. Just about every single vision board that I've had, I've probably hit 90% of all those things that are on there today, and it's kind of exciting. So you gotta buy in to your goals and dreams. You gotta buy into what you envision yourself having and becoming. You got to buy into that. So I bought in early, and I enjoyed it. It's fun to me. Even today, it's fun to me. So now, if you fast forward a day, I recently moved into a house in Orange County in Mission Viejo on a lake, and I saw the house, and I'm like, wait a second. I look up my vision board, and I saw that picture of what I saw in 2018. It's almost identical. The color, the design, the gazebo, instead of a pool, we now have a massive lake, and the colors are identical, the design, the trees, the layout of the trees, it's almost identical. And I cut it out, put 2018 and 2020. 2018 vision, 2020 reality. And I'm living in that house. It's a 3.5 million house today in Mission Viejo. It's the power of words. Whatever you say, you're gonna become. And if you say it, you're gonna own those words. And I learned that quickly. So I got inspired by reading many books and many quotes, and I ended up printing them out. And I remember 2 quotes that I printed out on 8x10 sheets. One was by Marianne Williamson. It starts with, our deepest fear, not that we're inadequate, our deepest fear that we're powerful beyond measure, and it goes on and on and on. The other quote was by Theodore Roosevelt that talks about, it's not the critic who counts, not the one who points out the strong man stumbled, the credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena. I'd read those quotes every day, 3-4 times a day, until I can recite it. So when I'm frustrated, I could just curse, I could talk about someone that pissed me off, or I could say that affirmation. And I would say those affirmations over and over and over again for years until it became a part of me. And the funny thing about it is I asked a lot of my associates, have you guys read this quote, right? A lot of them said, the new ones, oh, they haven't even noticed it on the wall. But it's so funny, I have to remind people, so you guys gotta read this quote here, because this got me through the toughest times. And if you don't have an affirmation on your wall, if you're not reading something to yourself every day, kiss this business goodbye. You gotta buy into who you can become. You gotta buy into your words, because you're gonna become that. So it's powerful, the vision boards, the affirmations. Without that, I wouldn't be here. What I love about being a mentor is I think about how much I loved being mentored by Patrick. I enjoy that. I mean, I enjoy growing, and I built that habit of now, like, I want to grow, I want more. How much more can I get better, and also seek it out? So because I've received it over the years, for so many years, I know the value of it. So I look forward to helping out so many young men and women to mentor them, because you got to pay it forward. When much is given, much is expected. And we've been given so much. We're so grateful for what we've been able to accomplish. I cannot help but to think about that young Jose Gaytan out there, that young Marlene Gaytan that wants it. They want to be somebody. And you could be out there and you want to be somebody. And being able to find that person and have them be part of our environment, and us to mentor them and change their life and guide them in the right direction, it's so gratifying, man. It's so humbling, and there's a lot of nobility behind it to go out there and pay it forward and help a lot of people. And it requires time and effort and going through challenges with them, emotional challenges with them, and guiding them through their trials. It's a process, but you look forward to that, because I went through it. It's a long process, but it's worth it when you see someone have those breakthroughs. So being able to be a mentor to somebody and change their life, it's one of the most rewarding things you can ever do. I bought into the idea that what if we can disrupt the industry? What if we can become the Amazon of the industry? What if we become the Tesla of the industry? What if we become the Facebook of the industry? And we're doing it. We're evolving. We're a blue ocean and a red ocean industry. So I want to see that become reality. And as that becomes a reality, we want to have 250,000 licensed agents. And that means we're going to go into multiple countries. We're going to have thousands of offices across the country. We're going to build so many financially independent leaders, and want to be a part of that. I want to be able to mentor the next layer of leaders. I want to be in a position where I can help my community, any children that grew up the way I grew up, that didn't have the father figure examples, to put them in the right environment. So being able to provide for kids that are less fortunate, being able to set examples on a leadership level, maybe writing a book when it comes to providing value and leadership. My wife and I to mentor more couples in business, because one thing making money, but it's one thing about building a family. I mean, that goes a lot further than just making money. We just want to go out there and one day look back and say that we're proud of ourselves. We have kids that are looking at us and seeing what the sacrifices that mom and dad are making today, so that they can one day say, you know what, I'm going to follow those footsteps, because mom and dad, they paved the way for the Gaytan legacy, the Gaytan family. And I want to make sure that we make our kids proud and they follow our example.
Everything comes down to principles and values. Principles never change. Principles connect your values to your actions. An army of principles can penetrate where an army of soldiers cannot. The moment you give up your principles and your values, you are dead. Your culture is dead. Your civilization's dead, period. The reason why you accept your current financial circumstances or your lack of progress or your lack of vision, all of you, when you leave here, don't be scared to speak that language. Some of you guys are too logical. Speak that dream language. Speak that vision language into your spouse, into your children, and to your teammates.